Hi, in our last service video we learned how to take apart all the linkages on your 2021 Orbea Occam, and now since we have the shock of the bike, we're gonna make the basic air sleeve maintenance for your Fox Float DPS Performance shock. Let's get into it. And everything we're gonna need for this service can be found from this bag, from Duffler bags, sponsor of this channel. So apart from the shock, we're gonna need some paper towel or just an old piece of rag, anything you find really, a little bit of grease, shrimp butter is fine, shock pump, 5mm Allen key, Fox fluid, bag of pistachios, 1 egg, bottle of wine, and the glass. Just kidding, we're not gonna need a glass. Drinking from the bottle, of course. And let's get into it. Nice. Alright, so. No, not you. You stay here. And so we're gonna start by taking out the air from the shock itself. So we're gonna use the shock pump, thread it on, and by pressing the button on the underside of the shock pump, we slowly release the air. Make sure all of the air is out of the shock. There you go. Now on the Orbea Occam, you're gonna have this piece of hardware on the bottom of the shock, which is not gonna allow you to slide the air can down, so we're gonna have to take this up. That's why we have the 5mm, and we're gonna unthread this bolt. Should slide out fairly easily. One pro tip: if the bolt doesn't slide out easily and it's actually stuck inside, you can use the other bolt from the top of the shock and help yourself with that one and push the other bolt out. So that's the hardware of the shock, and we can take the sag indicator off. Then make sure you have the lever in the open position, and we can start unthreading the air can. So some people use a vise to grab on the shock. Usually I just manage to open it by hand. If you really get into it, yes, it's coming off. And just like that, you unthread the whole thing, and here it is. And I actually like to use the paper towel, just not to get the table dirty. Don't forget to drink, of course, that's important. Damn, I forgot about the pistachios. Woo. Alright, and now we start cleaning this stuff. So take the air can and just clean all the fluid on the inside. You can use an isopropyl alcohol if you wish. This brake cleaner works the same way. Clean all the seals, dust seals on the inside. Look for any scratches on the inside. Take a look against the light. And if you can see any scratches, you would be to replacing that part, because that might mean there are some leaks, and that's never a good thing. And with this part perfectly clean, I'm gonna put it aside, and you got yourself a fantastic egg holder. Good, eh? Worth it. That must be the most expensive egg holder, eh? Alright, let's continue. So we take off this seal here. There are actually two of them on top of each other. Wipe off the excess fluid by pressing on the seal. We're gonna slide it down and take it off like that. Putting everything aside. Now I'm gonna take off those two white O-rings, slide them down. That's one of them. Here comes the second one. And again, wipe everything off, make it super clean. And just like with the air can, also with the inside of the shock, check for any damage, any scratches. Also on the seals, take a really careful look, wipe it thoroughly and look for any damage, any scratches that might lead to leaking. And now once all the pieces are perfectly clean, I'm gonna grab the bottle of wine and take a drink. And then we take the shock and start sliding the O-rings back. So first the white O-ring, then the black seal, and finally the second white O-ring. Then we can also slide back those two red seals. Just like that. And before we slide back the air can, we're gonna use some float fluid and put a tiny little bit around the seal, all the way around it, and a little bit on the air shaft as well, just like that. And by the way, if you were to change the volume spacer in your shock, it's under there, under the cap, so it's really easy to just slide off, pull out the spacer and put in a new one, different one, more of them, up to you. But yeah, now we can take the egg holder 3000, use some Saran butter or any other shock or suspension grease and put it on the dust wiper seal down there, just a tiny little bit. Same principle like in your fork, maybe a little bit more. That's just about right. And finally we can slide the air can back onto the shock. Might be a little bit hard than you think, but it goes. Then again, use a little bit of float fluid, put it to the inside, just a tiny little bit, like that. And now with a little bit of force, pull it together and screw it back. Just like that. Now the air can needs to be only hand tight, so nothing too crazy. Like that. And slide back the sag indicator. And that's us. We can put the hardware back, install the bolt with the 5mm, make it tight to 10 Newton meters. And finally, an important note, when you're pressurizing the shock, do that only after you install it onto your bike. And after each 50 psi, go through the travel 10 to 20 times to equalize the air in the negative and positive air chamber to get the best performance out of your shock. So that's it for the 50 hours air sleeve maintenance of your Float DPS Performance shock taken from the 2021 Orbea Occam. This kind of air sleeve maintenance is recommended after each 50 hours of use, and it's pretty much the same for majority of all shocks, especially from Fox and RockShox. Only RockShox has a different kind of greases and fluids, so check on that if you're using the shock from RockShox. For other service videos regarding the 2021 Orbea Occam, check the playlist that I have made. It should be somewhere right there now in the corner. So go there. I have taken apart all the linkages on the bike. I have shown how the derailleur hanger works because it's kind of special. So if you're having troubles with your Orbea Occam, definitely go there. Check this out. If you have any other questions about the bike, definitely don't be ashamed to ask me. I'm happy to answer all the questions. And otherwise, be happy, ride your bike, stay healthy, drink wine, and I'll see you at the next video. Bird Street. Nice. Good choice. Has anyone ever tried how this float fluid tastes? I mean, it doesn't smell like anything. I wonder, would it be good with pistachios or...